This video presents the teachings of Master Julian Curtis Lee, who has gathered knowledge from various gurus and scriptures on his journey to enlightenment and liberation. In a world saturated with sexual content, where our minds are constantly bombarded with sensually stimulating thoughts, leading people to focus on sexual gratification, Master Julian explains the destructive effects of a sexually obsessive mind and how it literally turns one's current reality into a personal hell. Join us in this video to understand the degenerative effects of having a sexually corrupted mind and how this mental virus can impact not just you, but also the people around you, including those you love. We assure you that by watching this video, you will gain a clear understanding of why sexual immorality is considered the second gravest sin, just after murder, as it metaphorically involves murdering your reality. Your human body is like a crystal that shines a picture on the screen of nature. The picture is the world and its conditions. Anytime you introduce something into the crystal, such as an impurity, it alters the color or form of the picture that shines on the wall. The great guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, says that the divine Shakti flows down our body with force, through our senses, and gives the apparent reality and solidness to the outer world. Indulging in perverted sexual thoughts, which takes place at a particular lower chakra, is like attaching an electrode to a certain part of the crystal. This in turn causes a certain class of pictures to manifest on the wall of one's life. The perverted sex thrill is a vibrational impurity that changes the outer world picture in definite ways. This is clearly depicted in the Jordan River described in the book of Genesis. We can see here that the river itself resembles the human spinal column. Whenever we indulge in immoral sexual activity or thoughts, we bring our consciousness down to the bottom part of our body, which is described as the Dead Sea, where the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah took place. These cities were destroyed by fire from God because of their addiction to sexual wickedness and perversions. As the sage Vasista puts it, to those who have gained internal composure, the whole world becomes cool and calm, while to persons molten in the furnace of internal desires, the whole world is one huge inferno. From the book Yoga Vasista. The whole world does not merely seem to be a huge inferno. Rather, the outer world actually becomes this way for him by dynamic metaphysical law. Of all inner desires, there are none more disturbing than the sexual desires and sexual activation. It is a dull and dark vibration in the body, originating in the lower, more dualistic chakras, and manifests a dull and dark outer world dream. This idea that the world is our own emanation is stated in many Eastern scriptures. It is especially developed in the Yoga Vasista, the world's longest book containing the teaching of sage Vasista, and it says, "He who does not control the fluid is unwise. Those who waste the fluid are tyrannized by Kal, the negative power. He who wastes the fluid gets into extreme troubles. Those who waste the fluid suffer greatly. He who does not control the fluid is degraded. Those who waste the fluid lose all. He who does not control the fluid is sent to hell, not later, but in the here and now. By self-control, depression disappears. By self-control, one gets knowledge of all things. By self-control, one crosses the ocean of the world. By self-control, one gets everything." Let's say there is such a thing as sin, and let's say that sin is predicated on laws that are hardwired into the very fabric of creation. And let's say that it is possible to generate in your body the vibration of a particular sin, as if a black cloud generates in the various areas of your body. That black cloud will alter the outer world pictures you manifest. The best metaphor is to say that a man has an inner ground. His sexual energy stored up becomes that ground. A man learns to know when he has disturbed his inner ground through sexual loss or even excitation. He begins to feel the difference in himself, the difference between states when his inner ground is fallow and undisturbed and when it has been disturbed. The male becoming inwardly aware comes to perceive this inner difference keenly. As our inner ground began to become firmer and firmer through sexual purity, the occasional lapse would make things obvious to see. The contrast, both in inner feelings and outer events, was so very clear. In reality, the male sexual orgasm is an earthquake in his inner ground. When he indulges in it, he sees earthquakes in his exterior world. His exterior world becomes damaged. When practicing celibacy, plus learning to commune with the inner divinity, you will see the world get saved on its own. The false outer world dream naturally upgrades. As you build up the sacred ground within you, the ground, literal land itself, appears externally. This is the reward of sexual morality. God becomes immediately very pleased by a man or woman's effort to practice moral restraint and follow the original law. That law is fixed at the foundation of the very fabric of creation. Every deva salutes you. Every lord of nature stands aside for you. The parable about the prodigal son should be held in mind. God is very pleased to see you turn back. Begin now your journey back to the Pure Land. When a man experiences an orgasm, it's like a profound internal earthquake. However, I've discovered that even mild sexual arousal can disrupt this inner stability. Many men, when learning to practice restraint, want to enjoy both the thrills of sex and the benefits of self-control. Some try to retain their semen while still indulging in sexual fantasies. I was in this situation for a while, and while it's better than losing semen, I realized that this approach still causes internal turmoil. It's similar to a slow-moving earthquake that, while not sudden or violent, still causes significant damage to the land structures. Even this level of indulgence, stimulating the lower chakras, can lead to negative effects. It's like creating inner pollution. Many so-called tantric and Taoist ideas encourage men to continue these behaviors. However, once you've committed to celibacy, the best path is to maintain a firm, undisturbed inner foundation, keeping it sanctified. This means avoiding any form of sexual excitement. A true celibate grows to dislike all forms of sexual stimulation and finds it rude and inconsiderate when women dress provocatively. For visually oriented men, this can feel like a form of sexual harassment. When many men adopt this mindset, it helps revive a more refined and beautiful human culture, where sexual energy is channeled into creating beautiful things like excellent architecture, elegant clothing, refined social manners, and sophisticated conversation. Men who are unaware of the deeper implications of their desires often want women around them to look sexy or lust-inducing to feel turned on. This ignorance creates a problematic social environment from the perspective of those practicing restraint. Those who are truly committed to celibacy prefer that women dress modestly, showing a bit of class. It's like a farmer who manages a prize stallion. He wouldn't appreciate people parading mares past the stallion, arousing it unnecessarily. Similarly, an enlightened man feels disrespected when women dress provocatively, as it disrupts his efforts to manage his sexual energy appropriately. The appropriate context for sexual expression is within the private realm of marriage and the home, ideally with the intention of procreation. Until society and women as a whole adopt this enlightened perspective, a conscientious man should avoid places frequented by women who dress provocatively. Recognizing sexual excitement as a form of spiritual and metaphysical pollution is a crucial step. It's important to find ways to avoid such stimuli even during sleep, which can be particularly challenging. Even occasional arousal in sleep can negatively impact one's overall well-being. For the deeply committed celibate, any relapse can correspond with increasingly significant negative effects in life, highlighting the contrast between a carefully cultivated inner life and a former, less aware existence. As you progress, the consequences of relapses become more pronounced, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the inner structure or inner ground you've built. A king's sexual continence does not protect the kingdom merely because the deity is pleased. and therefore protects his realm for him. The king sees his kingdom prosper because his celibacy keeps his outer world dream undisturbed. Every man and woman lives in his own kingdom, out to the farthest stars. Every man heals and protects his world with moral continence. This includes the entire outer world movie. You are the projector of your own world, and it upgrades itself through sexual morality. The male creative substance, one must notice, is very beautiful. It is of the nature of beautiful white pearl. This is very significant. In fact, the male creative substance is the essence of beauty in the male body. It is this substance in the body that lends beauty and natural order to the outer world. When a man foolishly drains it from his body, the beauty necessarily drains from that man's outer world dream, and natural order disappears. His world becomes unbalanced, twisted, and perverted like him. When it is kept in the body, beauty and glory return to his outer world. Slowly but surely, the Garden of Eden returns for him on all levels, day by day. The preserving of the sexual energy, except for procreation, is the cornerstone of civilized humanity. It is also the cornerstone of higher philosophy, or dharma. The inherent purpose of sex is the creation and full upbringing of a child by its own mother and father. Each child chooses its parents from the astral plane through natural karmic ties. When not intentionally creating a child in a family context with its mother, then one should store up sex potential in the body, letting it belong to God alone. It brings the actual upgrade of one's outer world, because the sexual energy is itself pure beauty and pure virtue. This practice by itself causes beauty and virtue to build up in the outer world with time. By not abusing the creative power, one gives up fundamental sin, the sin that most alienates us from the Creator. But there is more beyond this. The storing up sex potential in the body lays the ground for profound God contact, to experience and then abide in God's pure being, consciousness and bliss. This then brings even higher transcendental vibrations into your own body, and thus the world. Celibacy has an important occult role in attaining higher spiritual states via meditation. Our continence serves as the base and fuel from which we may ascend to the state of samadhi and experience the pure consciousness, being and bliss of God's nature, and finally become one with Brahman, the absolute divinity. The creative subtle power stored within allows us to engage and merge with the entirely pure creative power. Our body is then changed at an occult level, and consequently, our reality also changes. The great yogi Maharishi Mahesh wrote, "Being glorifies karma." Being refers to the pure being of God. Here karma refers to the entire outer world experience. The glorification of karma means that the entire karmic experience is upgraded when one immerses himself in that pure being. The profound sacrifice of celibacy allows us to immerse ourselves in the pure being of God and His bliss nature, which is perfect, non-dual, free of flaws and sorrows. As we immerse ourselves more and more in that, through the power of celibacy, our body becomes divinized. Then divine effulgence, such as we have never seen, begins to burst forth onto the canvas of our outer world. The world again becomes an angelic realm for us. Exterior glories are reflections of glories within. The energy retained through restraint, if one does spiritual practices, ignites in a process of God communion. To become celibate or restrained, spiritual practices such as meditation help the most. Celibacy or even restraint assist profoundly in spiritual realization. This is why the yogic and monastic paths require it. You can have a good technique and even devotion. But to contact the transcendental, you must be full of the creative power or sexual energy. Then that power becomes how you interact with the Creator. What I found is that the inner ground, the pure energy or Shen that you are storing up in your body, becomes like the food of God. In old movies, villagers often use torches with tar or resin at the top to create a burning light. This imagery can be likened to the spiritual journey, where built-up sexual energy serves as the fuel that burns and illuminates a man's spiritual path, allowing him to become a beacon of spiritual influence. Christ's biblical parable of the three brides also describes this phenomena, where one bride runs out of oil in her lamp and is left behind. In this context, the oil symbolizes sexual energy. This energy enables deeper interaction with the divine. The friction felt in meditation is like a spiritual resistance, igniting a new spiritual being. Retained sexual energy makes a person more spiritually potent and capable of engaging with the divine. In deep meditation, one may feel a kind of spiritual intercourse with God, which can be both exhausting and challenging. This process can sometimes be painful, as it involves being deeply penetrated by divine presence. After lapses in sexual energy, I often felt unworthy of deep meditation, unable to engage fully with the divine, much like a wife who can no longer provide the necessary resistance in a marital relationship. To connect with the creative power, one must be full of that power, and you could feel the difference clearly after such lapses. The belief in a creator often includes the idea that this being is all-seeing and all-knowing, aware of our thoughts and actions at all times. While this is generally accepted, some believe that there are specific moments when the creator pays even closer attention. One such moment is during the human orgasm, a time when it is thought that individuals draw near to a divine presence. The intense pleasure of this moment can be addictive because it is believed to create a special connection with the divine, where the divine eye becomes particularly attentive. Similarly, there are times when the divine observation becomes more focused, especially during sexual acts. At these times, every aspect of the act, its setting, circumstances, intentions, and moral implications, is closely observed by a higher intelligence. The divine response to these factors influences our personal lives and the broader reality we experience. This underscores the deep spiritual importance of the sexual act and its potential to impact both our inner and outer worlds. Practically speaking, during sex, you form a connection with the universe, reaching out to its furthest parts. Every detail of the act is measured against a universal pattern of law and life, which inherently supports creation. The context of the sexual act is crucial and is fully registered by the all-seeing universal consciousness. This matrix of universal laws either harmonizes with or clashes with the conditions surrounding the act, depending on how aligned they are with these universal principles. If the conditions are misaligned with this creative context, it creates a vibrational discord with the universal matrix, leading to adverse conditions in one's life as a form of lawful consequence. Simply put, divine intelligence reacts negatively to the misuse of creative power, resulting in automatic repercussions. One such consequence is an inability to recognize or understand the negative effects of one's actions, leading to ignorance, disconnection from one's true path, and a life driven by unfulfilled desires. To avoid these pitfalls, strive for wisdom and self-control, and use this energy positively. Blessings to you all.
War in my mind, I'm trying to fight a war in my mind. I don't know who's the winner tonight, but it